Hi everyone, and welcome to Protocol 36, and in today's video we have something a little bit different, which is of course the Flash movie, and how I think Eobard Thawne, aka the Reverse Flash, could be in it. Now before we get started, I don't really know how well this video is going to do, but as long as you guys enjoy it, that's all that matters. So in order to show that, I'd really appreciate if you could drop a like, as that would really help out the channel. Thank you. If you follow me on Twitter, I pretty much tweeted out something pretty interesting a day after DC Fandom happened, which you'll see right now, is that I believe the second Barry Allen Ezra Miller is playing in the film is in fact Reverse Flash. And in the film, we're pretty much experiencing and pretty much watching his origin story in the film. And that this is a young and inexperienced version of the character who's still a fan of the Flash. Now, for those of you who don't really know the origin story of the Reverse Flash, which is perfectly understandable since he has one of the most confusing backstories in all of comics, but basically Eobard Thawne was born in the 25th century, all the way in the future, and he was a massive fan of the Flash. So much so that he became a professor in the Flash Museum and pretty much became an expert in the Speed Force. He was so intelligent that he was able to recreate the accident that gave Barry Allen his powers, therefore giving him the ability of a speedster, and even became a Flash himself. He was so obsessed with the Flash that he even had plastic surgery in order to look like Barry Allen. Eventually, of course, thanks to time travel shenanigans, he finds out that in the future he does get killed by the Flash, which absolutely breaks him, therefore becoming one of the most dangerous Flash villains of all time. Obviously, over the years there's been different types of origin stories for the Reverse Flash and Eobard Thawne in general when it comes to his relationship with Barry Allen, but the basics still remain, that he was a Flash fan in the future, able to find the Flash's costume, and pretty much tries to become a superhero himself. Now when it comes to the Flash movie, we know that there's a second Barry Allen next to the Barry Allen that we pretty much know, who's also being played by Ezra Miller. And even though a lot of people already talked about how this could be Reverse Flash, I really wanted to give my own thoughts on how this could work in the film. And even though this could just be a different version of Ezra Miller's Barry Allen, since we know that the film will also be dealing with the multiverse as well as time travel and pretty much adapting the Flashpoint storyline from the comics, so there's a chance that he could just be a different version of Barry Allen in the DCEU. But personally, I don't think so. I think what will happen is that the reason why he looks like Ezra Miller's Barry Allen is because he was a massive fan of the Flash, like the comics, so much so that he pretty much had a plastic surgery to look like Ezra Miller's Barry Allen. And what we're seeing here is him basically learning and becoming the Reverse Flash in the end. And they're pretty much going to turn this into a massive twist, like many other comic book films have done in the past, where even though comic book fans might know the direction that the film might take when it comes to these iconic characters, how it's going to be done might not only be similar to how it was done in the comics, but also done in a unique way, when executed well, of course. One of the reasons why I think that's the case is because, well, as I mentioned before, the film will be an adaptation of the Flashpoint storyline, where in that story, Barry Allen basically went back in time in order to save his mother, Nora Allen, from the Reverse Flash, pretty much creating an entirely different timeline in the DC universe, changing everything, which almost destroyed the entire world, which forced Barry to obviously go back in time, stop himself from saving his mother in order for everything to go back to normal. We know that Barry's mother is going to be in it, which we saw in the sneak peek trailer, but I think it's safe to say that you can't have a Flashpoint storyline without the Reverse Flash. The character is way too important and way too iconic to be left out when it comes to the Flash movie, especially when he's the one who killed Barry's mother in the comics. So at some point they do have to use the Reverse Flash, and I believe he was also teased in one of the Instagram posts. I could be wrong, but I just don't think they will leave out a character this important in the Flash mythos, especially when they're adapting one of the most iconic storylines where the Reverse Flash has a massive role in. A lot of people also pointing out that he's wearing a yellow jacket, which is obviously very synonymous to the Reverse Flash, as his costume is mostly yellow. Also in the taxi scene, the number that's written on top is 1E63. 1E doesn't really mean much, but 63 could possibly be a reference to the year Reverse Flash was introduced, which was of course 1963. This could be a reach, but it could also be light and clever foreshadowing for what's going to be happening in the film. Also, this wouldn't be the first time where Barry met a younger version of Reverse Flash, as in one of the recent DC Rebirth comics, which I believe 2017 was when they revealed Reverse Flash's new origin story. But in that comic, Barry basically meets a younger version of Eobard Thawne, who was basically the Flash and was a young fan of the Speedster. However, the thing is, after Barry finds out that this quote-unquote Flash, that he was the one who was creating all the crimes in the future so that he could later on come in and save the day, he becomes really angry at that, which made Eobard a bit guilty, so that when he wanted to basically travel back in time and apologize to Barry, even wearing a yellow costume in order to basically become his quote-unquote Kid Flash, but he finds Barry telling a young Wally West that every second is a gift, which was exactly the words Barry said to Eobard when they were friends, which obviously turned Eobard insane. So when it comes to Reverse Flash in the film, I can definitely see the filmmakers take both the old school origin story of Reverse Flash as well as the origin story which was in one of the Flashpoint tie-in comics, and of course the recent DC Rebirth comics where they revealed his brand new origin story. But obviously having this quote-unquote Barry Allen be a young fan of the Flash, obviously recreating the accident that gave Barry his powers, giving himself plastic surgery in order to look more like Ezra Miller's Barry Allen, and of course trying to be like the Flash, which we see him wearing a Batman costume but painted red and yellow over it in order to make it look like it's a Flash costume instead. They could even have him be revealed as some kind of traitor who basically tries to become his friend, but of course Reverse Flash being Reverse Flash, he pretty much backstabs Barry and obviously tries to make his life a living hell, which is what he's known for. And it could explain why we haven't really heard any casting when it comes to Reverse Flash for this film, because maybe, just maybe, Ezra Miller is playing both Barry Allen and Eobard Thawne. I don't know if they're gonna bring another actor in. Maybe they will, maybe they don't. Hopefully they do. But either way, I do think the Reverse Flash is in that film and was in that sneak peek trailer which was released in DC Fandom. But we just have to wait and see if they're actually going to go into that direction or not, since obviously nothing has been confirmed. But I still have a hard time believing that Reverse Flash won't make an appearance in this movie. However, what about you guys? Do you think the second quote-unquote Barry Allen, who's with Barry Allen and Supergirl in that scene, is actually Reverse Flash? If so, if not, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. If you enjoyed this video, please like, and want more, subscribe. To begin, Protocol 36.